Let's take a look at the new Google Contacts. So a couple ways we can access the contacts. We can go up to our waffle here, and if we click on contacts, that will take us right into the contacts tab. However, if we come over to our Gmail account, and I'm just going to jump back to Gmail here, you notice there's a drop down just to the right of mail. And if I click on contacts, it takes me there. Now, right now, this is set up to be part or the old contacts. So if I just come down to the bottom of my contact list, I can click in contacts or try the new contacts preview. So I'm going to click there because this will change soon enough. And what you'll notice is a little bit different interface, similar to some of the other tools and how they've changed over the past year or two. So notice that on the left, I have a table of contents where I can get to different settings. On the right-hand side, I have the different contacts that I have for this account here. And you notice as I hover over each one of these, it gives me a couple of options. One is to edit that contact. So if I click on this, I can come in and I can edit the information for this particular account. So if I want to add extra phone numbers and different things, I can do that very quickly and easily here. If I'd like to add a new contact here, I simply click here and it's going to take and allow me to add a new contact in manually here. Now the nice thing about Google Calendar is that it will actually take and add contacts automatically. So if you take and receive an email from an individual and then you actually reply to them, it will put that contact into your contact group here. So just make sure that you understand that Google automatically puts some of these contacts in. So if you see some that you don't know how they got there, that's probably how it happened. One of the most powerful parts of contacts is that I can create groups. Now, again, Google likes to use the term labels, but we can kind of use those two interchangeably. So a label in contacts is like creating a group of individuals that belong to the same organization, the same group that you're trying to contact. So notice I have a couple groups over here on the left-hand side, and it's super easy to create a label. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to create a label, and I'm just going to call this just test, just because. And I'm going to click OK. So let's say I have all these different people in here, and I'm going to want to put some of these individuals into this group. So I'm going to come down, and I'm just going to click on each one of these student 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, your directory will look a little bit different because you won't have the same contacts that I do, but I've now selected 6 individuals. I come over here to my label, and I manage labels, and basically what I can do is I can put these individuals into this test group or label. And what that does then, and you'll notice that once I do that, it takes and into my test group now I have 6 individuals that I have access to. So why do we do that? Why is that important? Well, I'm going to jump back into my Gmail here. So come over here to Mail. And I want you to notice what happens now that I've created that group. I'm going to compose. I'm going to come over here, and now I'm going to type in test. And notice what it does. It allows me to then take and add all of those students at once. Now, 6 students is not very many. But what if I have a group of 30 people? I go into my contacts, I set up that group or that label once, and that then allows me to then email all of those individuals by simply entering in the name of that group. Now, the best part about this is that we can actually use that group with calendar. So if I have a calendar event and I want to invite a specific label from my contacts, I can do that. I can share documents with that group or label that I created in contacts. So contacts are incredibly powerful if you have emails and information you need to send out to large numbers of people. Because again, inevitably what happens if we have a large group is we leave somebody out. So setting up your contact groups allows you to do that. So let's come over here to this menu here and let's take a look at some of these other pieces. Frequently contacted, Google keeps track of those individuals that I frequently contact using this account. Directory, this is related to those of you that have a G Suite account in your school, so you should be able to see all of the individuals in your school account right here. The other cool thing about Google Contacts, the new version, it allows me to find duplicates. And at this point, I don't have duplicates. But what it then will allow you to do is take and merge accounts. So if you have a person in and they have a couple different emails, you can actually merge that into one, and it keeps track of all those emails. Down below here, again, you'll notice that I have different labels set up already. So labels, again, basically our contact groups, and it tells you how many individuals. So for Beyond the Chalk, I have 1, I have 24 in Conrad, and so on and so forth. Again, I can set up as many labels as I want. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to start throwing these individuals into a group here. And again, I come over to my Manage Labels. I can put it into any one of these groups, or I can create a new label. So let's go ahead and create a new label. I'm going to call this Test 2, and this way I know which ones I have to get rid of here. And I'm going to come back over to Manage Labels, and notice what it did. It actually took and put a Test 2. Now what's cool about a label is I can throw as many labels as I want. So maybe all of these individuals are part of each one of these groups, and so I can throw them in there and make that work here. So notice now my test 14 or my test group has 14 individuals. I come back here, I type in test 2. So you notice it picks up 2, and it's going to throw all of those individuals in there as well. Now I can do that same for CC and BCC. So if I don't want everybody to see, again, I can do the same thing. I type in test and put in 2, and those all go to the blind carbon copy piece. So Google Contacts, incredibly powerful, easy to use, and just pretty clean. You know, they changed the interface a little bit to make it a little bit cleaner. So a couple other options here that you need to know about. If I click on more, you notice I can import and export bookmarks. So if I have a bunch of bookmarks from another browser, I can contacts from another browser, I can import those into this particular contact group here. So if I have something in Outlook, I can actually export those out of Outlook and import them into here. One other option here that you need to know about is the settings. Some of you don't like the fact that it's sorting by first name. You like it to sort by last name. This is where you can change the sorting feature here for Google Contacts. So it allows you to sort by last name instead of first name. For those of you that are like, I don't like the new contacts, I want to go back, notice at the very bottom here it says switch to the old version, which allows me to go back to the older version. So that's it for Google Contacts. Again, we're going to be using this again because one of the most powerful parts of this is it allows me to create labels, or again, groups, and then I can take those groups and use them to share out, send emails, share documents, send out calendar invites, those types of things.